Right, that is Hair Tour where I'm heading, and that's Sharp Tour, and then just in the mist, just through there, you can just about see it. There's Great Links Tour, and that's Brat Tour, and that's Doe Tour. So I'm heading in that direction towards Hair Tour, and hopefully down the other side to the river and follow the river along. That is Gare Tour, and if I swing around, that's Hair Tour. I did try a little path to see if I could get down to the river, but that didn't. I couldn't find the path, and I couldn't see a path down by the river, so I thought it better to stay up here. This is just some rocks. I don't think these are named. So we'll follow, there's a path you might just be able to make out. You can follow that path up to Gare Tour in that direction. So yeah, if we're back at these rocks, and just through there, I think you can, in the distance, that's Fair Tour. And that's Bagger Tour. Come from that direction, and then I've deliberately come up this side of the wall to go the other side to get to Lidford Tour, which you can't quite see. But there's that A-frame crossing point up there, which would be a bit difficult to get Bess over. And I've just had a pony come right up to me. I've got Bess here. So my walking poles there. I don't stand on my poles, horses. I need those to get my Duomid up later. So I've just got to head up this hill and then head for Devil's Tour, and then from Devil's Tour head to Cut Hill, and then Fair Tour, and then Little Kneeset. Right, that's the path. Looks like that's a path that should take us to Devil's Tour. So that's handy. I think I've been to Devil's Tour once before, quite a few years ago. And this is sort of an A-frame. As I said in the last video, I didn't go on the other side of this brick wall. I didn't want to be dragging Bess up that A-frame. But that's Lidford Tour. And then there are various other tours in the background. I'm not sure offhand what they are at the moment. There's a big tour over there in the distance. Now that might be Great Mist Tour, with Little Mist Tour just below on the horizon. But I'm going from memories years ago, could be completely and utterly wrong. And there's some more tours over there. So I say I'm going to be heading in that direction, and I'll have stop at Devil's Tour and have another drink some water. I've just kept walking. I've been walking. It's now 1:40. I left at 9, and I've really only stopped once for a roll. I've had some water. I've drunk about 1 litre of water. I have topped up both my water bottles. But I must admit I haven't stopped much. little knee set is a little mound directly in front. Obviously, got to go down the hill, get some water, then up the hill to little knee set. So that's little knee set. That's where we'll be stopping again, of course. But a little bit. Well, I'm not really ahead of time, but I think I've made up time. I was afraid I might not get there until 5 o'clock or something like that, which would still have been plenty of time. It didn't get dark until after 8, but I didn't want to be there too late. I want to get there so I can settle in for quite a while before dark. So I've been walking pretty much non-stop, and made up good time. This is Fair Tor. Bass. See? So this is Fair Tor here. I'll probably point the camera towards me when I'm more, once I've settled down there. And that's Great Links Tor over that. See you tomorrow, Gizzy. Right, I've set up the Duomid, and I think I've got a good pitch on it. Obviously the left-hand door is a little bit flappy at the moment because I've not rolled it up and I've just pegged it out loosely. I can decide later on whether to roll it up or peg it down properly, see how it goes. I was just started taking a couple of things out of my pack, and I thought this might be a good time just to show you how I pack it and how the stuff comes out. Obviously I filled up the 2 platypuses at the bottom of the hill, and then I had to carry them up. So if I was walking very far, having to carry that much water, it would be very difficult. But just like this little hill is okay. Camera bag obviously goes around my neck. So I've taken out my waterproof coat, which was at the very, very top. This pack here has my a gilet, it's like a vest, a light Patagonia vest. That's in there, and that's my book. I finished my last book. That's my book, and that's obviously the lens cap. And then in there I've just got my writing book and notepad and stuff. So the next to come out are my waterproof trousers. And then first aid kit. Obviously if it was raining, I'd probably be back at the car by now. But if it was raining, then obviously you could, you'd unpack all this under the shelter once the shelter was up. So far I've taken out, that's my rubbish bag, first aid, that's my CUBEN sits thingy, that's my cooking pot, that's my bag of food. What I'm really looking for, that's the X-Ped mat which I use. Let's get that out of the way. Yeah, that's the X-Ped mat there which I use as the back rest. Well, not back rest, but the back support for the pack. So I get confused sometimes. Right, that's what I really wanted next. That's the inner net. The Mountain Laurel Designs inner net to go inside the Duomid. So I'll get that in now, and then I'll do a bit more recording in a minute. Right, that's got the inner net. Of course, some of you may be aware that Chris Townsend borrowed this a little while ago to test for TGO, and I think he You found the internet a little bit on the small side, but I am getting an ook nest built sometime. But it is what it is, I guess. It's an ultralight inside thing. I will keep it pitched up because of the box walls, and my sleeping bag is very, very wide, and I think without that it would get on the grass. I'm not quite sure what Chris meant when he said the doors didn't match up, because on this one they do for me. As I say again, I think, you know, having a double door here would be beneficial. But I guess if you're an ultralight person, then that's just adding a few extra grams. But I must admit that probably would be something to consider. But the doors certainly match up, because I've got the left-hand door on the Duomid, and again, ignore the flappy sort of secondary door thingy here, because obviously that's not pegged out properly, so that doesn't count. There's a small breeze. Just checking the time, it's only 4:30, so okay, I've got plenty of time. I could possibly, I'm going to leave it for now, but I could possibly get a little bit more height out of it at the rear. I've got the bottom sort of sloped just ever so slightly there, so I don't think I've done that perfectly, but I'm very happy with that. Right, I've got a few things inside. That's my bag with some spare clothes in. I've just used a stuff sack this time, because I've put the stuff sack with the spare clothes inside another Cuben fibre liner bag inside the rucksack to keep that dry. I've put my waterproof coat and trousers at the back. So yeah, so I've put my waterproof trousers and coat back there. I'm going to pump the X-Ped mat up in a minute. It's a short mat, and that's the X-Ped air pump to pump it up with. And then this is just my little extra sheet of CUBEN. I've just put it here just as a extra precaution in case the sleeping bag sort of comes, you know, pokes out during the night. Just gives that extra couple of inches there for safety. And also if I'm sitting or getting in and out, it just helps keep me away from the wets as well. So there's plenty of room behind the internet to put things. So I might lower the internet last thing and just put the rucksack behind there when I don't need it, just out of the way. This is one part of the cradle system that Colin uses. Now, he's probably done his a lot better than mine. I'm very Heath Robinson, I'm afraid. But the idea is, this is, as I said, it's only one part of it. I've got another part which is exactly the same as this, although I did not bring the third part, which is the length of cord for securing two poles upside down. My idea with this is if the wind got very, very strong and the pole extension started to, you know, bend or wobble or anything like that, I could put my second pole up against this pole here and then use this just to cinch the two poles together, and then that would just give a little bit more rigidity on that. But you know, it's not windy and that is pretty strong anyway, so I mean that's not going anywhere. But that's why I put that in. It's just an emergency in case I felt I needed to, you know, bolster up the poles. Right, well, we're a little bit more organised now. I've given Bess some food. Time is now 5 o'clock. So I've been here about an hour, and it's taken me about that length of time to get this far. So I'm not exactly a quick worker when it comes to getting everything out. I've pumped up the sin mat, which is under there, and this time I'm using a full sleeping bag. But as you can see, it's extra wide, so it actually sort of spills out a little bit. Obviously once I'm in it, that will probably lift that up a bit, and the walls will help contain it there. But I wanted plenty of room to manoeuvre inside the bag, but of course that does make it, as I say, extra wide for when you're actually putting it in. Well, you know what I mean. I've put Bess's bed in. I haven't attached the fourth corner, that's why that's a little bit squiffy, so that's been nothing to do with that. So that's where we are at the moment. I just thought I'd do a little bit of recording from inside. It's 5:30. I've put a meal on. I've just lowered the internet simply because I needed to get to my rucksack, which I have put behind me. Because I just wanted to put these bags on my feet. It's not that my feet are cold or anything, but all this area here is saturated. It's dry over where my shoes are over there, and around those stones that's all quite dry, but this bit is really wet around here. So I just thought I'd just put my feet in these bags just to and then when I get in and out of bed, you know, later on, then I'm not going to be having, you know, soaking wet feet when I come in. That was the primary idea behind that. In this stuff sack here, I've put in my the North Face bottoms, which I probably will put on later on, because these trousers are pretty dirty this time. I got them much dirtier on this walk, and I've just got a pair of socks down there and a buff, which you probably saw last time. And again, I've used the stuff sack rather than the roll bag, because this then goes at the bottom of the rucksack inside another waterproof bag. So I'm sort of hoping that, you know, water can't get past the first one, which it shouldn't do, and then this is just for extra protection. And then I've got a t-shirt and a jumper there as well. So one thing's for sure, I'm not going to get cold. Again, I probably won't need much of all of that, but I thought it better to put in just to be on the safe side. And you can just see I haven't taken Bess's coat off yet. I was going to do that. Bess is out there. And if you remember rightly from last time, the sun rose in that direction. So if it is clear in the morning, you should get a nice sunrise. And I think Gizzy is over that way somewhere, or the car is anyway. Okay, here we are inside the Duomid. Just point you towards me. It's decided to rain outside, so I've got Bess in. I think she's a bit unsure. It's a slightly different setup here to what she's used to. But rain wasn't forecast, so I'm hoping it's just a passing shower and that it will soon go. But I just have to wait and see. I've put these leggings on here. I've put one, that's one dry sock there. I haven't put a sock on this foot yet because I've got a bit of a damp plaster. First time in yonks, I got a tiny little blood blister. I wonder if my trail shoes were a little bit tight around my toe today, around my toes. So luckily I stopped about 8 kilometers away from here, and I remembered what you know, some people have said, and that's to take your shoes off and let your feet breathe. So I did that, and it's the first time I've ever done that, to be honest, out and about, take my shoes and socks off. Never done it before. It was just fortuitous that I did, and I just saw this tiny little blood blister developing. So I put a plaster on it, and all the other toes seem fine. I had my meal, and I've had a cup of tea, so I'll probably have one more tea in a minute to get that going, see how I can get it going in here. I think this should be okay. Okay, this is straight after that little that little shower, and do a little dance. I might have to cut that bit out. I'll tell you, if you don't smile though, you've got to smile. You really have to smile. Right, well this is was got a congestion-y coffee type thing when I'm out here. I don't know if it's the grass pollen-y stuff or what. But yeah, so we were outside, now we're back inside, of course. It's not too bad doing the zip up and undoing it, but I wouldn't want to be doing it in and out too often, I must admit. It only takes a few seconds. It's easier getting in and out of this than the Trail Stars, I must admit, because you've got a great big entrance here. So I must admit, ingress and egress is a little bit easier. There's not a lot in it, but it's just a little bit easier. And once you're zipped up, I still touch the sides when I'm zipping up and things. I'm not touching the sides now, I'm well away from them now. But when I was, because of course you've got to get down, right down there to get the zip, which of course is, you know, a couple of feet away. Again, you know, that's nothing to most people, of course, but I've never done it before. Not with a zip, anyway. Right, just quickly, one thing I thought I'd show you was how I've set up the pole in the apex. Remember on some of my test pictures at Cheddar, I had the pole facing the other way, and I also, I think on one occasion, tried the carbon fibre pacer pole, and that was touching the material at the back. Well, with the slightly longer alloy pacer pole, one, you don't get anything touching, and by angling it this way, which I purely did by chance, to be honest, of course it's not touching anything, but it's sort of near that little bit of strapping there, so that's protecting anything and everything, I think. So I think that's probably maybe the angle to position it, perhaps. Sorry if that wasn't very exciting. I've lowered the internet thingy just for the moment. This is there. You can see what I mean by this sleeping bag. It's half. I mean, obviously I've undone it a bit, but it's quite close to the edge. So having that bit of material there just gives it that little extra protection. And the usual jumble. I think it looks messier than it really is. I've just put my shoes and socks at the back there inside. I've got Bess's pack outside. It's probably going to get quite wet if it keeps raining like this. But there's not a lot of more spare room in here. I need this bit of room here to get in and out. So I can't put it there. Obviously I've put the cooking stuff there. I mean, theoretically it would fit sort of maybe in that space, but it's just as well off outside, I think, here. As I say, there's not quite as much room in here as in the trail stars, but there's not a lot, there's not a huge amount in it. Certainly more headroom anyway. So I must admit, getting in and out, it's almost a joy. That's the black cloud that's passed. I must admit, even though it might be about 17 or 18 or odd degrees, it's quite chilly. I think it's coming. I was quite warm in the I wasn't in the sleeping bag, but I was next to it, or on top of it. Yeah, bloody hell. Yeah, I was on top of the sleeping bag, and it was quite cosy. I must admit, I've only got a shirt under this, but it is a bit on the nippy side, I think. I think we've got another shower coming. There'll be no sunrise this morning. The time is just gone 10 past 11. I woke up at 5 this morning, and I needed to nip out, spend a penny, which I did. Got back in, and I think I fell asleep again, and didn't wait. It was just before 7, so I'm only just starting to come to at the moment, so I'm very much half asleep. But I also want to, it's going to start packing up, but I suspect it's going to take quite a while. I've just made breakfast, which is that bowl of porridge, which I'll have in a minute. And Bess is still quite settled. She's been very good. And I'm just, as I say, just trying to organise things a little bit in here, which is easier said than done. Right, I've started to pack up. I haven't made very much progress yet. It's 7:40. I've packed up the cooking stuff, and the rubbish bag I've closed up. The platypuses I've rolled up. Drinks are ready to go in. Most of this sort of stuff is stuff that will go on the at the top, and obviously the platypuses will go outside. So pretty much, apart from a book, that will go on the top. Everything else that's sort of in there I need to fold down and pack inside. Ooh, let's just zoom back a bit, get a better view. I'm going to have to wake Bess up soon because she's still fast asleep. I would say maybe at this time typical woman, but maybe I better not. Wakey wakey, Bess, Bess, come on Bess. Come on Bess, come on. Come on. Oh God. Have a stretch. Good girl. Oh, Bess. She's probably going to spend a penny, so we'll turn away from that. I've been jumped out of the tent at least twice during the night. Well, once at 5 o'clock this morning, and I was out a couple of times at sort of 10 o'clock and 8 o'clock last night. So she's certainly got a big bladder anyway.